Did the AEW WrestleDream main event go too far? Plus, Mercedes Mone wins her 12th championship, and a WWE New Generation Era star has passed away. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. AEW went on and booked a banger of a show on Saturday night in WrestleDream.
What a dream it was, although for someone it was a little bit of a nightmare.
That's someone being Jon Moxley, who tapped out in the Scorpion Deathlock whilst surrounded by water and shards of glass from a fish tank. That main event was especially aggressive. Of all the things that they did, the spots with numerous weapons, the finish and the choking and the voig, and for me, it was the bit where Darby Allin had his finger and Jon Moxley put the skewer under his nail.
It's the bits. It's like when they whap out the Lego in wrestling and they step on the Lego back in the day. It's the bits that you can relate to in real life, because we can't relate to some of the stuff they do in the wrestling, but we can relate to a skewer under the fingernail.
I can relate to that, geez. But the spot that caused the most ire online was where Darby Allin was being drowned in a fish tank by Jon Moxley, and a former AEW talent has spoken out very much against it.
Yeah, former AEW coach Sarah Stock got the little clip on Twitter. She quote tweeted it, saying she was going to change the channel, and this is worse than the plastic bag over the head. Kids are going to end up dead trying this stuff at home. There's two things I would say to that. It was like midnight when the fish thing happened, so the kids are surely in bed by then, unless they've got irresponsible and maybe even radically cool parents. Let them stay up that late. And also, AEW is not exactly marketed for the kids, is it?
It's not.
No.
I mean, there's some people have argued, well, there were kids in the crowd that night, so obviously, kids attend AEW shows. I think Darby Allin high-fived a lad on the way out from that very aggressive match. And this kind of went on a lot. Sarah Stock really got very aggressive about this one. Somebody downplayed the spot as being dumb, and Sarah hit back saying, yes, anytime I see attempted unaliving, hello YouTube, wrestling without a disclaimer, regardless of the company, my opinion remains the same. It's dumb. It also led to a reaction from Amanda Huber, the widow of Brody Lee.
Apparently it's it is the responsibility of the parent to educate the kids on what to do and what not to do. So maybe if they see someone trying to drown someone in a fish tank, don't do that, son.
Yeah, that's the big thing that comes away from it is, there's a lot of aggressive things that happened in that match, and it kind of falls to the parents to go, yeah, don't do that to people in school. And I think that, but the argument is from Sarah Stock is that the one thing that AEW doesn't have that WWE has is disclaimers. And the more I think about it, the more I think, actually, I don't see any disclaimers and not that a disclaimer ever stopped me from power bombing my brother onto the bed, don't get me wrong, but WWE always had those don't try this at home things going on. Don't see those in AEW, I guess because it's aimed at an older audience and they don't feel the need to. But I think regardless of whether you're aiming it at an older audience, it is still being seen by a younger audience. Yeah. And I think that's probably the concern that Sarah's showing there. But then obviously people were messaging back, so they were showing pictures of Sarah in TNA choking somebody with a tire, going, oh, and this is all right then, is it? Still on television. So there's a lot to come out of all of this.
Surely if you're watching a professional wrestling show, it's in the confines of professional wrestling. Don't try this at home. That's the overriding message of a sleeper hold, isn't it? For goodness sake, or a punch.
Because that's it. Because Sarah was quote tweeting people saying, if I DDT'd a kid when I was at school, I'd give them a concussion. And she went, yes, you're right. So what? Just don't do any wrestling moves ever? Is that the takeaway there? I think it shouldn't come to Ross and I to say this, but if you are a youngster watching this, we're going to ask you very politely to not attempt to drown friends and family at home. Do not try them at home.
I mean, when I was 9 watching Triple H hop in a coffin with Katie Vick, I didn't think to myself, you know what, 9-year-old Ross, I quite fancy a slice of that.
Just as well. Thank goodness those news reports weren't true. We'll keep an eye on that one. No doubt this is going to be a conversation that happens a lot, and there's been already had a lot of discussion online about the raw nature of the aggression in that match, and we'll let you know more when we know more at cultaholic.com.
But I would add the context as well. Moxley and Darby were and I'm not going to quit in the days before the match. So this kind of thing is to be expected, surely.
And that's a good shout, actually. In it wasn't like a regular moment in a regular spot as part of a regular match. This was the last match of the night that was starting at midnight. It was deliberately put on last for a number of reasons. I think one, because obviously there's a lot of water involved. You don't only wrestling when the ring's all wet afterwards. Two, it's probably the most violent crescendo to any match on the evening, so it probably makes sense to give it the final bit. Three, obviously, with the nature of it, you put it on after midnight, so hopefully less kids see it. And also, the Athletic Commission in the state are very cautious on what happens, and probably there's probably a nervousness about, what if they just shut us down midway through this match? Well, at least it's the main event then. You can at least do that. None of that happened, of course.
What a great bit of publicity that would have been. A match too gnarly for the commission. It was shut down before it ended.
Too gnarly.
Yeah, cowabunga.
There'll be no doubt a lot of discourse online about that today, and about this. Mercedes Mone. She won the interim Ring of Honor Women's TV title at WrestleDream, and then the following night she went and did it again.
Yeah, she was facing Jodie Threat up in Canada, which is up there in the north. My goodness me. And she got the Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Women's Championship.
Like you've just discovered Canada.
Yeah.
My goodness me.
I am Captain Canada. Anyway, she's won now the Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Women's Championship to win her 12th championship. It's up in the air if two of them even count. I've been seeing this discourse online, but she does have 12 physical title belts now on her being.
She has 12 titles: the AEW TBS title, the Owen Hart Tournament Winners title, the interim CMLL Women's title, the Body Slam Women's title, the Ring of Honor Women's TV title. Sorry, it was the interim Ring of Honor Women's TV title. I've written that down wrong. She defo the CMLL Women's Champion. Discovery Wrestling Women's title, the EWA Women's title, the RevPro Undisputed British title, and the Queen of Southside Women's title, which was a defunct promotion that RevPro took in. The belt is kind of defended the same way, but represented separately.
Yeah.
Andy Quilden did a thing with me and talked to me all about it. Primetime Wrestling Women's title, the Bestia Women's title, and now the Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Women's title as well.
That's lots, that.
It's a lot of belts. She's running out of staff to carry the belts with her. At Winnipeg, at the Winnipeg show, they had all the security guys and all the trainees and stuff who were there to help marshal the show were there, but they didn't have enough, so they had a couple of referees holding the belts as well.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good fun. The belt collector thing that Ultimo Monet is doing, I don't hate it.
Me neither. It's a good visual, isn't it? Like, how many years has it been since we've seen someone with that many titles? You go back to Austin Aries. There's a great name to bring up in 2025. What a laugh he was, eh?
Obviously, Ultimo Dragon has done something
I was
similar.
saying, like, since Ultimo Dragon, how many has there been of that?
And also the Ultimo Dragon thing as well. A lot of those belts were classed as one belt.
Yeah.
So technically he only had two. What a loser. But I don't hate it. I think it's a great way of shining a spotlight on certain promotions. Obviously you'll go, but how? You get 1/12 of the spotlight. But that's 1/12 more than they would have normally got. My only concern is I genuinely think that Mercedes Moné, and I think there'll be people that will argue the toss out of this, I think Mercedes Moné will be the kind of person that will go back, defend that title, and lose that title when they need to, when the time is right. It's a great story to tell of how, like, in the space of maybe 2 or 3 months, she loses every single title. It's just the downfall of Moné.
Yeah, and you're watching the match on Saturday night, and there was a couple of moments where she was losing her bananas. She was getting a bit like, oh my goodness me, I can't quite get this done. So maybe the downfall is already starting there.
Potentially. The only other issue that might come from this is, and hopefully it doesn't happen, because in the event, like, should Mercedes Moné sustain some kind of injury in a match, that's 12 titles all of a sudden you've got to
vacate.
What a day that would be for vacant.
Just get the old head wig back in the game, just fly them back to each promotion around the world.
That would be amazing. The owls are flying. Oh no, what's happened to Mercedes? They're flying. But yeah, another one added to the locker of Mercedes Moné over the weekend too, that is. That's ludicrous. We're going to end on this one. Some sad news to share with you this morning, but we want to celebrate the life and times of. The news broke last night. The former WWE Tag Team champion. Sir Mo, real name Robert Horn, has passed away at the age of 58 years old.
Yeah, he had been dealing with health issues since early 2022 and hospitalised in mid-July, undergoing major surgery, which resulted in 12 inches of his small intestine and 2 inches of his large intestine being removed. Mo was discharged from hospital shortly after the surgery, but he was hospitalised again in early August. He remained in and out of intensive care until his passing.
So Bobby Horn started his pro wrestling career in 1991. He had a couple of enhancement matches for WWE, and then he began teaming with Nelson Fraser, the late Mabel, and Men on a Mission was born. When you look at the pre-Attitude Era of WWF, the New Generation Era, Men on a Mission are a big part of that story. They did have a WWF Tag Team title reign that is somewhat contested. It was at a house show where they weren't meant to win, but they did anyway. Then they flipped it back. It still counted. It was still a thing. He was going to be part of the Nation of Domination when they got called up to the main WWF roster, because he was doing the Nation of Domination thing elsewhere in USWA as Sir Muhammad, but when they brought the Nation up to the WWF, he wasn't part of it, which is a shame.
That would have been a different vibe, wouldn't it, with the raps and whatnot?
Yeah, very different vibe. He remained involved in pro wrestling right until the end of his life, running the Saw Wrestling School since 2016, and also part of a major a team, a network of wrestling promotions all around the country. Mo had a real strong passion for Newcastle upon Tyne.
How and why?
Through Contract Wrestling Academy based in Bedlington. The brilliant team that worked there worked with Saw and the OIWA, the complete network of wrestling promotions all over the world. And look, just here's a photo of Mo at Monument in town. I love that so much. I love the fact that Mo got to experience Geordieland, which is great. And just very much somebody that gave so much to the industry. Everybody that I've spoken to who got to work with him just said what a lovely guy he was. And so we wanted to take a moment today and pay homage to the late, great Mo. Bobby, we love you. And we'll see you on the next one. For the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.